Hi guys, welcome back to my new channel, Luna Impress. I am so glad to have you guys here, and if you are new on the channel, please like, share and subscribe. Guys, today I am going to talk about the issue with Remy Ma and Papoose. Guys, I don't know if you guys know years ago when Remy Ma was in prison, and I remember when he went and he got her out when it was time for her to come out, and he been a supportive husband all through the process, even after she came out of prison, allegedly. And I don't know him personally, but he seems to be a very upstanding guy, and he's always in the background. And he's well liked by a lot of people, and he seems to be an upstanding guy. Um, Remy Ma was the one that you hear mostly because of her hits, and she been out there for a long time, very popular, very famous rapper. And we heard more about her, even though we knew him, he was mostly on the background. And these two have been what it was portrayed that things was good in their marriage, and it seemed like everything was okay because he been holding her down for a long time. Good husband, allegedly. And I never heard anything in regards to him cheating or any mistreatment or anything. So he seems like he's a very nice guy. And I don't know what went wrong in that marriage, but I know marriage is something that when two people love each other, they commit themselves to be loyal to each other. And marriage is not 30, 70, or 60-40. Marriage is a 50-50. And, we got to give up ourselves. And that's something that a lot of people can't do. They don't know to give up themselves. And it's something that don't cost anything. And most importantly, trust. Because if there's no trust, no respect, and no giving of yourself, the marriage is going to fall. So, as I said, I don't know, or we don't know what went wrong in that marriage. But one thing I can say that when two people love each other and they're married for a long time, as they say, when you marry somebody, both of you becomes one. So anything that person is going through, if that person is hurting, or if that person is sad or happy or whatever is bothering that person, the other one will know because there's a bonding. And that bonding is not going to go wrong unless one of you make it wrong. So what I'm trying to say is about the bonding is that because when they're married and everything is going good, and the love is so strong at the beginning and early stages of the marriage, you get to know that person. You know everything. As I said, you know when that person is hurting or not well. You know. So when something is not right and something doesn't feel right, that other person would picks up on it. So no matter what that person do, if they're hiding and cheating, it doesn't matter because sooner or later that person is gonna know. So in the situation of Remy Ma and Papoose, allegedly it seemed like, in his own words, that she was cheating, and she had cheated many times on him, and that to show how strong of a man he is, because he tried to uphold his marriage, he tried to keep his marriage, and mostly because of his daughter. He stayed here and tried to work things out. He said he never believed in going to therapy, but he agreed to go into therapy to save his marriage. Not only did he agree to save his marriage, he said both of them went to therapy and she agreed to save the marriage. And one of the deal was, he said that the first thing the therapist asked them if they want a divorce or if they want therapy. And both of them agree to have therapy. And in his words, allegedly, he said that that after they went to the therapy and everything seemed to be okay, she was still seeing the guy. She was allegedly seemed like she was still seeing the guy. And the fact is that she was still doing it in his face. It was a big disrespect. And once that respect is lost in a marriage, it's hard to save the marriage because number one, you have to have enough respect for your husband, not only for your husband and your child, but for yourself. You gotta respect yourself, number one. You gotta respect your husband. You gotta respect your child for you not to fall into something like that. And sometimes, a lot of time, we think the grass is green on the other side when it's not. It just look that way, but in reality, it's not. It's when things go left and you try to bring it back, it's too late. So now, Papoose is going about his business, living his life, happy because he been through it. And he never wanted to come out public. And you guys know he never came out public about his personal business. He's always in the background. But he was forced to come out public and say something because allegedly she forced him because she was the first one went out there and she threw their business out there. So he had no choice but to come out and say something. So in that case, when he started talking and, saying what he had to say, it seemed like she wasn't too happy about it. But she forgot that she was the one came out and she threw their business out there. So I am thinking maybe you guys can, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I am thinking that she don't want to admit that she made an error, and because she knew she made an error, she is bitter about his happiness with his new girl. And because she see him going around living his life, she probably, in my opinion, allegedly, I'm thinking that maybe she thought that he would forgive her and everything would be okay. But when it's a repetitive thing and a repetitive disrespect, there's no way coming back from that. You can't save that. So, in other words, he's moving along, and she seems like she's angry because she see he have somebody that is very famous, a person that is a champion, and she have it a younger woman, and she got it going for her. And he's happy. He's happy now. And I don't think she likes that, And she don't want to accept the fact that she was the one started all this mess. And I applaud him for who he is and for the way he carry himself, not only for himself but for his daughter, because sometimes when you meet someone and you get into a relationship, and sometimes you don't marry, but you live or you're having a relationship with someone, sometimes you think you fully know them, but sometimes that's not the case. I see people married for all 50, 60 years and they end up getting divorced. So, as I said, once you're with a person and both of you love each other and there's respect and trust, you know everything that goes on with that person, no matter how much you try to hide it. Because sooner or later, something will show up on that person. And I am glad for him for moving on with his life. And I think he's a very smart guy. And not only smart, but very humble, very respectful, because he didn't want to disrespect her in no way. But as I said, he was forced to say what he had to say because she was disrespecting him. So he didn't have no choice to say what he had to say. And, this is a lesson for everyone out there, either female or male, that go into a relationship and they don't want to stay in a marriage. The best thing to do and the best policy to be is honesty. But a lot of people are not honest. They sneak around and they want to have their cake and eat it too. When they know that, they don't want to be with the person, or either they want the person, but either for convenience, but not for sexual reasons. So they go out there and they get somebody else and they stay with the person they have because they love the person in an emotional way, but not in a sexual way. And they go out there and look for what this other person is not giving them. But is that fair for the other person that doesn't know or going through this with them? That's not fair. You're robbing that person of their own happiness. You might think the person don't know, but sooner or later, the person is going to know. So the best thing, and this happened constantly over and over, and this is something that happened for years. When somebody's cheating, they never come out and say to the other person, look, we got to sit down and talk. Enough is enough. I think we should both go our own ways, and honesty is the best policy. And it's up to that person if they want to stay into a relationship with a cheater. Because once a cheater, always a cheater. So, as I say, if there's no respect, no love, and no, what you call it, no self-respect, the marriage cannot work in no way. You got to respect that person, respect yourself, so that that marriage can last a little longer. And nowadays, people don't believe in marriage because a lot of people married and they get divorced because they thought that was the one, and a lot of people prefer to live together. But, it's all depends on both people. If they believe in the sanctity of marriage and they want to marry, then that's good with them. But they have to uphold that, If they want to be married, they have to respect, because marriage is a sacred thing. It's not a joke, And you got to respect the sanctity of marriage when you go into marriage. So a lot of people just say, okay, we're going to get married and that's it. But it's a lot of work. For you to keep a marriage lasting long is a lot of work. It's not easy, especially in the early stages of the marriage. It's a very tempting time because people go through so much. It's so much. The marriage is just fresh. And sometimes people come in with baggage in the marriage, just broken relationship and other kids out of the marriage. So it's a whole lot in the early stages of marriage. And for you to go through those stages, both of you have to love each other, bond together, respect each other, and try to overcome those obstacles, So that's all I wanted to say, because this thing with Remy Ma and Papoose caught my eyes, and I've been watching them for years, and my kids are fan of both of them, especially my son. He was a fan of Remy Ma for a long time. But he have his opinion also, and this is what I think, because I've seen them for a long time, and I just wanted to bring in my side of this, my opinion. So you can write a comment and tell me what you think. And guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you guys in the next video.